Hey everyone, welcome back. So, you just found a weird, gross looking blob in your chicken coop, and you're probably thinking, what in the world is this? You might have just discovered a lash egg, and yeah, it's as gross as it sounds. So, that's what we'll be talking about today. We'll go over everything you need to know: the causes, symptoms, treatment options, and what to watch out for if you find a lash egg in your coop. Just a heads up, this video does include some graphic photos of lash eggs and sick chickens, so if that's not your thing, this video might not be for you. First things first, despite the name, a lash egg isn't really an egg. It's a clump of pus, tissue, and egg-like material that forms inside the chicken's oviduct. That's the part of the reproductive system where eggs are normally formed. Technically, it's caused by a condition called salpingitis, which is just a fancy word for inflammation or infection in the oviduct. When a hen's body is trying to fight off an infection there, it builds up this mass of gunk, and eventually the chicken passes it like an egg. Not pretty, but that's what's going on. We actually went through this ourselves. One of our hens had salpingitis, and we were able to get an ultrasound done. Here you can see the mass building up inside her oviduct. It's a pretty clear example of what's going on internally when a lash egg is forming. Unfortunately, she didn't make it. And while we did everything we could, it's just another reminder that lash eggs aren't just weird or unusual, they're often a sign of a serious underlying condition. Lash eggs can look really different depending on the bird and how long the infection's been building up. Sometimes they look like yellowish or brownish rubbery blobs with layers, like a piece of cooked chicken. They might even have a smell to them. Yeah, not a great one. Okay, so is a lash egg dangerous? Yes and no. One lash egg by itself doesn't necessarily mean your hen is dying. Sometimes a hen passes one, recovers fine, and goes right back to normal. But lash eggs are almost always a sign of infection, and in many cases, chronic reproductive problems. If your hen is acting sick, not eating, puffed up, walking weird, or not laying, then it's something you want to take seriously. Now, let's talk about the possible causes, because there are a bunch of them. Most commonly, it's caused by a bacterial infection. Things like E. coli, mycoplasma, or salmonella can all make their way into the reproductive tract. In some cases, it's triggered by viral illnesses like infectious bronchitis, which damage the oviduct and make it more prone to secondary infection. Older hens and high-producing layers are more vulnerable to simply because of wear and tear on their reproductive system. Hormonal imbalances, past issues like egg binding, or even obesity can all play a role in salpingitis. Now, if you found a lash egg or suspect one of your hens might be dealing with salpingitis, there are a few signs you can keep an eye on. Often the hen may stop laying completely, or you'll notice a sudden drop in egg quality, soft-shelled or odd-shaped eggs, or even blood on the eggshell. She might act more withdrawn, spend time puffed up in the corner, or even walk with a strange upright penguin-like posture. In some cases, you might notice her belly looking a bit swollen or tight, especially if fluid is building up inside. Once you find a lash egg in your coop, it's really important to try and figure out which hen laid it. That way, you can keep an eye on her for any other signs of infection, and you'll want to isolate her from the rest of the flock and consider reaching out to a vet for advice. Now, is salpingitis contagious? Well, it's a bit of a gray area. The short answer is yes, it can be. The condition itself isn't contagious in the way something like Marek's disease is, but the underlying bacteria or pathogens that cause it often are. If the infection is caused by something like mycoplasma, which is extremely contagious, it can easily spread through the entire flock, especially in close quarters. But, on the other hand, if the lash egg was caused by a more isolated strain of something like E. coli, and the sick hen hasn't been in close contact with the others, it might not spread at all. Now, to answer a question some people ask, can you eat a lash egg? Definitely not. Lash eggs aren't really eggs. They're basically clumps of tissue, pus, and debris that form due to infection. There's no yolk, no egg white, and no nutritional value. Eating one could make you sick, so don't do it. Another question we often get, what about humans? Is it dangerous to handle a lash egg? Not if you're careful, but always use gloves or wash your hands thoroughly afterward. Some of the bacteria involved, like E. coli or salmonella, can cause serious illness in humans, especially in children, seniors, or pregnant women. It's best to handle any sick chickens or strange-looking eggs with caution and proper hygiene. Now, let's get to the most important part of this video. What can you actually do if one of your hens lays a lash egg? Well, treating salpingitis, the condition behind it, isn't always simple, and the options depend on how far the infection has progressed. Ideally, a vet will diagnose the specific bacteria causing the infection and then prescribe the right antibiotic. Along with antibiotics, your hen may also need anti-inflammatory medication to help reduce swelling and discomfort. There are also more advanced treatments, like something called retrograde flushing, where saline is gently passed into the vent to flush out blockages. Unfortunately, even with all of this, salpingitis often comes back. In many cases, the only definitive treatment is surgical removal of the oviduct and uterus, a procedure called a salpingohysterectomy. This is rarely done in backyard flocks, but it is an option. As for home remedies, most vets will say don't waste your time. When it comes to a serious infection like this, only proper antibiotics and vet care are going to make a difference. That said, it's also worth knowing that even if a hen recovers, she may never return to normal egg production. Some hens will continue laying abnormal-looking eggs or stop laying altogether. So while there are options, treating salpingitis is rarely quick or easy, and sometimes, despite doing everything right, the outcome isn't what we hope for. Prevention is always key, and the best way to prevent salpingitis is good hygiene. Keep the coop clean, feed quality food, and watch for any signs of illness. And if a hen gets sick, isolate her and talk to a vet. Early action makes all the difference. So to wrap things up, lash eggs are weird, kind of gross, and definitely not something you want to ignore. But now you know what they are, what causes them, and what to do if you find one in your coop. As always, the more we understand our chickens, the better we can care for them. Thanks for watching, and if you've ever dealt with lash eggs, drop your story in the comments. We're all learning together. See you next time.